Here's where we left off. We were talking about the muscles that you can see from the front. And we said that the deltoid muscle abducts the arm, either side, that the pectoralis major adducts the arm, ADDUCTS, adducts. The pectoralis minor, we're not going to talk about that, but you do need to be able to recognize the muscle and know that it's underneath the pectoralis major. And the serratus anterior, it's more kind of underneath your armpit more. You can see it a little bit with the pectoralis major there, but not completely. Then we're talking about the muscles of the abdomen. You don't have to know all of them. You do need to know the rectus abdominis. That's what's responsible for your six-pack, as well as the external oblique, like hands in the pockets, and internal oblique would be the opposite direction. By the way, this word rectus means straight up and down. And in today's lab, we've got two rectus muscles. We have the rectus abdominis that goes straight up and down the front of the abdomen. And we've got the rectus femoris, which is straight up and down the front of the thigh. Okay? Right. Now, what else do you need to know? Oh, the muscles of breathing. Actually, I'm not going to hold you responsible for the muscles of breathing on this particular lab. We will be talking about them when we get to the respiratory system. By far the most important muscle of breathing you can't even see here because it's down between the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity, and it is called the diaphragm. The intercostal muscles, those are what you're eating when you're eating like spare ribs or ribs. And they are useful for breathing, but they are not the most important muscle. The diaphragm is. Now, torso muscles seen from the back. Where are those? There we go. The torso muscles seen from the back. You just need to know three of them, and one of them we already learned, the deltoid. Yes, the deltoid, you can see it from the front, you can see it from the side, you can see it from the back. By the way, the letter delta, looks like that. And the deltoid muscle looks like the letter delta, which looks like a triangle, so delta. Now, there are two muscles you need to know. One is called the trapezius, and the trapezius is shaped like a trapezoid. What is a trapezoid shaped like? That's a trapezoid, right? Kind of shaped like a kite or a diamond, maybe. And so this is the trapezius. Actually, it would go all the way on the other side. And look, it attaches to the spine of the scapula. Remember the spine of the scapula? It goes all the way out to that acromion process, and it attaches to the occipital bone. Look at how much you know now. You know all that stuff. It also attaches to the spinous processes of your vertebrae, all of the cervical and all the way down the thoracic vertebrae. So the trapezius. What does the trapezius do? Well, if you ask people in gyms, they think all it does is this. It does do that, but it also helps you do this. When you stand up straight, put your shoulders back, still your trapezius. So the trapezius, as in its actions, is difficult to generalize about. The third muscle is the latissimus dorsi. And anything, by the way, anything dorsi means back. And this word latissimus, it means the very widest. In Latin, latissimus. So the latissimus dorsi is the widest muscle of the back. And if you are looking at some kind of a superhero costume, they usually have got a back that kind of looks like that, a sort of V-taper, and that would be because of a very broad latissimus dorsi. Right? There you go. Let's see. Let's go back to our person who is our cadaver. Let's go see what our cadaver has to show us. Okay, here we've got our cadaver. Let me That seems kind of dark. Doesn't that seem kind of dark? I don't know why it's so dark. Okay. There we go. Wait. No. There, that's better. Okay. So the three muscles you need to know the deltoid. The deltoid is right out here. You need to know the latissimus dorsi, all of that. And you need to know the trapezius. Boom. There you go. Lots of muscles in your back. The back's actually a very complicated place. Right. Now, let's talk about the arm. Your arm's got a front and a back. Oh, we see the deltoid again, all right? On the front of your arm, and by your arm, I mean the part of your arm between your shoulder and your elbow. That's what we're looking at here, right? We're looking at the part between the shoulder up here and the elbow down here. On your arm, you've got two muscles on the front of it, one muscle on the back. When you're looking at someone's arm, the first muscle you bump into, we call it the biceps, and it is called the biceps. I call it brachii. It's not pronounced brachii, it's pronounced brachii, but I like to pronounce it the way that will help me spell it properly. So I've always pronounced it biceps brachii. It reminds me that there are two I's in it. Right? And the biceps brachii, it has got two heads, which is why it's called the biceps. That literally means bi, two, seps, heads. Now, between your biceps muscle and the humerus, there's another muscle, and it is called the brachialis. The brachialis, you can see, is kind of sticking out underneath. So if I had a needle and I was coming from this way, my needle would go through your skin, go through the biceps brachii, goes through the brachialis, and then bump into your humerus. What do the biceps brachii and the brachialis do? They bend your elbow, and bending your elbow is called flexing the elbow. The back of the upper arm only has one muscle, and it is the triceps brachii. Biceps brachii on the front, triceps brachii on the back. Triceps means three heads. I'm not sure that's helpful to helping you remember it. But when the triceps brachii contracts, it extends the elbow, meaning it straightens out the elbow, extends the elbow. All righty. So we are going to pick up there. No. Yes? No. We're going to do the forearm. Right? Look at all these muscles in the forearm, the brachioradialis, the pronator teres, the flexor carpi radialis. Holy cow, that is a lot. Aren't you glad you don't need to know all of those? You do need to know this. The muscles of the forearm get divided into two major groups. One of the major groups is called the hand flexor group, and the other major group is called the hand extensor group, right? So have you ever done like jazz hands, right? Jazz hands? Jazz hands, that is the hand extensor group. And if you go jazz hands and then you feel it for a while, you're like, where are those muscles that are getting tired? On the back of the forearm, okay? So here, do you notice we can see the back of the person's hand? These muscles right here on the back of the forearm, particularly the ones that are closer to the thumb, that's the hand extensor group. The hand flexor group, if you flex your hand, is when you're, oh, I'm flexing my arm, okay? And the hand flexor group, that is on the front. Do you see how here we're seeing the palm of the hand, and the hand flexor group is on the front of the forearm, right? Hand flexors are on the anterior forearm, hand extensors are on the posterior forearm. Great. Now we will start there with the muscles of the leg on the next video.